What are we going to talk about today? I have no idea. Not a clue. Probably the Eagles and the Rams with Zach Berman. The matchup is set on Sunday. Let's get into it on the PHLY Eagles podcast. PHLY365, when you sign up, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, Bo Wulf, Zach Berman back in the saddle. Zach, your 14th show in the past 3 hours. How you doing?
Doing great. Excited
Something
for the
like
show.
that, right?
Yeah, excited for the show. Excited for the week ahead. Big game, all right?
Win or go home, man. Must win.
No, what I mean by that is, so last night, obviously, we're watching the game together in separate houses, but watching the game together. And
I snuck in when you were sleeping.
it had to be very weird.
Did you get those 5 hours?
4 hours and 40 minutes.
Come on,
So,
man.
yeah,
We
4
ended the
hours.
show early so you could get 5.
I don't know if we ended the show early, but 4 hours and 40 minutes. That's besides the point. So we do the instant reaction, but you don't really get a chance to like dig into the Rams. Started doing a bit of that
Get your fingernails dirty,
this
you know?
morning. I thought, we spoke to Vic Fangio today, and
Speak for yourself.
Vic Fangio framed the Rams in an interesting way, okay? Because he asked if the Rams are better than when the Eagles played them last. And this is how he described the Rams. He said they started 4-5. I'm sorry. They started 1-4 rather. They lost 4 of their first 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't play their players in the season finale. In between, they won 9 of 11 games. So really speaks to the strength of that. Like this could be one of the top teams. And Fran has always outlined what the numbers are when they have their guys, their horses on the field together.
Sure,
if you will.
they were missing Nacua and Cooper Kupp a lot of the
Exactly.
first half of the season.
So I still think the Eagles are the better team. We should add that during this time frame that Vic's talking about, the Eagles went there and won 37-20.
Right.
But this is
Saquon Barkley had 843 yards from scrimmage.
yeah. Now I was saying throughout the week that I thought the Rams would be the better matchup for the Eagles than the Vikings. I probably gave Sam Darnold a little too much credit during that. But this is now Vegas has, I see in our chat, Eagles are already up to 6.5. So
Ooh.
Eagles are expected to win this game here. But the Rams deserve respect. Now, there's probably viewers at home rolling their eyes because I was talking up the Packers last week. The Eagles win by 2 scores, could have been 20 points. Still, this is like Stafford, McVay, Puka, Cooper Kupp. You saw that the pressure that defense applied. This is a good team.
Well, yeah, I mean they're one of the 8 teams left in the dance, and I think on defense for them, especially those like reframing the way we look at them based on like how they've done recently matters a lot. They finished the season I think 24th or 26th in defensive DVOA. However, the last 4 games they've played that matters. The game last night, and then weeks 17, 16, and 15 in the regular season, they haven't allowed an opponent to score 10 points. It's been single digits every game.
Yeah, after that Buffalo game, so they beat Buffalo 44-42. After that, 49ers 6 points, Jets 9 points, Cardinals 9 points, and then, of course, last night, Vikings 9 points. And the Eagles haven't been a prolific scoring team.
But the Eagles' single best offensive performance of the season came against the Rams.
Exactly. And I do think that the Eagles match up well against them. I stand by that.
Yeah, my initial thought is last week I was a little bit reticent. I thought like the Packers could pip them in this game potentially, just one play here or there. This game, I'm like, I feel a little bit too confident, and all respect to this Rams team.
Yeah.
But like, it's a tough ask for them to have played the game they played last night, everything they're going through, fly east, play outdoors in the link, with the rabid fans against a team that is, more talented than them. And so, like, I think that the Eagles should be able to run the ball down their throat and control this game. And I have every confidence that Vic Fangio's defense, they might get beat on a play here or there, but on a drive-in, drive-out basis, I'm gonna continue having faith in them. I think the Eagles should win this game, and frankly, I think it would be a disaster if they don't. And maybe that's unfair to think because it's every game is different, but like, they should win this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to fall behind 24-3 in this game, and the Vikings, the offense was bad last night. I think that the Eagles will be able to run the ball on them. I'm actually more concerned about the Rams offense than I am the Rams defense. I think the Eagles will move the ball on that Rams defense. I think that Rams offense, when they have Puka, they have Stafford, Kyron Williams has been playing well.
There is no running back in the league that scares me with this Eagles defense.
No running back that's
no running game. The Ravens, I guess, but
Sure.
the Eagles already shut them down.
Yeah. Now that gets into the linebacker situation here, and we should say that in speaking to Vic Fangio today, he said Oren Burks and Jeremiah Trotter Jr., similar to what you saw when the Eagles played the Cowboys. He did not commit to that being the rotation, but he certainly made it sounded. I will read you exactly what he said regarding Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Would you prefer Oren Trotter Jr. or Jeremiah Burks?
Jeremiah Burks.
I agree.
Yes. So he said on Jeremiah Trotter Jr., we're not afraid to put him in there. Trott's got a good future, and that future might be now. He's got good instincts, really likes the game. He's smart. He has a lot of really good qualities. I don't think Vic was talking up Trotter just for gamesmanship, because there's other times when he has, talking about Bryce Huff's playing time. He said we had a good 3-man rotation with the other guys and we stuck with it. Like Vic's not good at giving you the politically correct answer. I think that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. will be in this rotation.
That's interesting. I wonder what the rotation will be like. Will it be a drive-by-drive thing? Will it be a Jeremiah Trotter on rundowns type deal? It'll be interesting.
So he gave the example in the Cowboys game. They have the pick 6, and then they had to go out there again for another drive. So it's really giving them spells.
Oh, interesting.
And
giving them a blow, as they say.
As they say.
They say that.
Okay. You're loopy today. Did you get sleep?
I got enough sleep. Yeah.
Okay.
I did a draft show with Fran.
What a flex that is. Look at that.
I mean, we're rocking and rolling.
Yeah. Seriously, you're going national.
I could use a blow.
You're going national on me here. The meager local reporter with the big national draft guy.
As if you don't have enough stuff to do. We needed to put more on your plate.
I wouldn't mind. Yeah. Ask not for a lighter burden, ask for broader shoulders.
Or a blow.
Staying away from that one here. So a lot of it has to do with special teams, and because both of them have key roles in special teams. Michael Clay,
I feel like that's overstated.
So Michael Clay said that it's really gathering with Vic Fangio, Bobby King, their inside linebackers coach. By the way, pay attention to Bobby King as a candidate in New England for defensive coordinator.
Oh, really? A little scoopy?
Just something to pay attention to.
A little bit of a scoop?
You are loopy today.
A little bit of a whiff of some news?
No. Well,
I smell a scoop.
No. Look, it doesn't take a lot of brain power to connect those dots. Him and Mike Vrabel work together. Vrabel's close. The Eagles have had a lot of success there. You've heard, Mike Reese is a reporter I have a lot of respect for up in New England, has already connected those dots. Down there, there's other guys who might fit.
Mike Reese or Tommy Reese?
Well, different jobs. Tommy Reese, by the way, would have been a candidate for the Patriots offensive coordinator job had the Browns not promoted him. Good hire, like Tommy Reese.
Yeah, you've liked Tommy Reese forever. Let's see how he does.
I mean, you rip on me for this. Nick Saban hires him as offensive coordinator. Kevin Stefanski.
And then he retired. He didn't want to work with them anymore.
I don't think that's why he retired.
That's what put him over the edge. He hired and worked with him for 1 year. He said, I can't do this anymore. This job I've had for my whole life, I'm done.
Kevin Stefanski hired him as offensive coordinator. Like, these are really smart people, but you what don't like the way he
trust
chews his
I
gum
trust
or something?
certain people who will go unnamed who thinks he's a jabron.
You know what? That's why Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors. I think that
Baskin Robbins should do just promotionally, just to get into the news cycle. They should bring out a 30-second flavor. Don't you think that would be a big deal?
Sure, I guess so. You are on one.
It's like when IHOP changed their name, right?
So
To IHOP.
Anyway, so you said, do I prefer Tommy Reese or Mike Reese?
Hear ye! A 30-second flavor at Baskin Robbins.
Joya's
I think that would make the news. It would lead the Today Show.
Joy says that would be a huge scoop. Good job, Joya. So
emphasis on scoop. You didn't. She wrote it in all caps. You got to sell scoop.
Yeah. Well, you know what my favorite scoop is?
You had the Eagles' first round pick.
No,
that was a big scoop.
My favorite scoop is the next one.
Rocky Road.
No, hopefully I have a scoop before my next scoop of ice cream.
I mean, what are the odds?
Wow. I don't know.
You like an ice cream?
Yeah, I like reporting news too.
Okay.
So,
Bobby King.
So Bobby King.
Bobby King's Bobby Q. BBQ.
All right. I think you need to just take a breath.
Any relation? Any relation between Bobby King and BB King, as far as you know?
No. Let me give a little. Let me just talk through this here. So,
there must have been somebody in BB King's life who called him Bobby King.
I have no idea what you were talking about. I am trying to talk about the linebacker rotation. Okay, so they confer with the special teams. Bobby King, Vic Fangio, Michael Clay, they go through this. And in this past game here, they actually had to pull Burks back a bit on special teams because he had such a big defensive role. I think going into this game,
but how do you square that with like, well, we're playing Nolan Smith on kickoff coverage and stuff like that? Yeah. I just, it's the season's almost over. Let him play.
Well, that's also what Michael Clay said.
Jalen Carter's playing 98% of the defensive snaps. Oren Burks can play a couple special team snaps and also on defense.
Yeah, Michael Clay said all hands on deck because if you lose this, the season's over. So he's on board with you there. By the way,
Man
you know
understands the rules of the playoffs.
Do you know what hat he was wearing today? Michael Clay.
Was it the golf course in Hawaii that you've asked him about before?
No. It was the hat of a coach's son.
The hat of a coach's son, LSU.
Yeah, he was wearing a Garrett Nussmeier, the hat that Garrett Nussmeier is selling for NIL. He's wearing that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Does he pay Garrett Nussmeier directly? Or you think he got a couple?
I'm sure he got it for free.
Typical handout.
I'm sure he got it for free, but he likes supporting a coach's son, he said.
Okay. I like that. Garrett Nussmeier was in attendance at the game on Sunday. You told us on the show last night.
Yeah, Garrett Nussmeier and Will Campbell. Will Campbell, who
I mean, you talk about marketing. If that guy's not getting a Campbell soup deal, like, what are we doing?
I don't know about that. Yeah,
it's gonna be a top 15 pick.
Sure,
he's a big beefy guy. His last name's Campbell.
Okay,
I mean,
it's like
what
Cooper,
are we doing? How could that not be the thing?
It's like Cooper the Gene and Cooper Cheese, right?
Well, Cooper Cheese is not a brand.
Cooper the Gene is promoting Cooper Cheese right now.
Okay,
do you know that?
I've heard him say that. Yeah.
Yes, so a cheese company promoting,
but it's
Cooper
a specific
cheese.
Company. It's not quite as 1-to-1.
Well, actually, no. Cooper Cheese is a company. It's not a type of cheese.
Like Cooper Sharp is the Cooper company.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it's just a form of like cheddar cheese, like a sharp cheddar. That's It's called Cooper Sharp. Yes. Yeah, you didn't know this? It's like Kleenex.
But is it the kind of thing where this is the only kind of Cooper cheese, or this is just they're the original?
Can the chat weigh in here?
Because Kleenex is a thing.
I did not prep for this part of the show.
Kleenex created it and became synonymous, but there are other brands. It's like Xerox.
Cooper DeJean is promoting Cooper cheese. The brand Cooper cheese. Cooper Sharp is a form of Cooper cheese.
Okay.
And actually, look, Cooper is restricted. It has the restriction sign.
Like the Feely.
Is that a trademark or is that a restriction?
It changes depending
Okay.
on the whims of the person who created it.
Okay, so pay attention to the linebacker rotation this week. Another interesting nugget. I had not heard this before. Vic Fangio says that he does not play backup linebackers together during practice because you won't be in a situation where two backups are in a game, or typically won't be.
And if you are, you're effed anyway.
Yes.
Right.
So he says that Trotter Jr. and Oren Burks have both taken snaps this year with Zack Baun outside of that Cowboys game, like in practice, because this is the way Fangio practices. I find that interesting. And I think back, because we obviously don't observe the practices this time of year. The practices in training camp, we saw them go through a lot of different pairings. And maybe that was part of the reason, because maybe they knew sooner than we did they were going with Nakobe Dean and they wanted to mix and match these guys.
I'm very curious to see what this injury changes for like how Vic Fangio is using Zack Baun. We talked about it a little bit on the show yesterday, but does this mean that they are going to be less willing to let Zack Baun play that overhang role and change the fronts because you're a little bit worried about it being Oren Burks alone in the middle in space, given that we saw that Zack Baun was in the middle of the field on that interception of Jordan Love, and he's a signal caller? Or maybe this goes into the rotation with Oren Burks and Jeremiah Trotter. Maybe when you want Baun closer to the line of scrimmage, that's when you want Trotter in the middle. And maybe when it's actually probably the other way around, but maybe when you're in short yardage, that's when you want the extra heft of Trotter with Baun, or maybe it's just based on who played some special team snaps and they need a break.
Yeah, so when he was talking about Oren Burks, he talked about Burks being a good athlete, and he talked about Burks' experience. Burks is the more athletic of the two. Which,
for sure,
yes, exactly. Trotter, smaller, but
thumpier.
Thumpier. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thumpier meaning hard hitting.
Yeah.
Okay. Thumpier.
I think so.
Thumpier. Not as thumpier as his father, but comparison is the thief of joy.
Not as thumpy as his father.
Not a comparison. Let's judge Jeremiah Trotter Jr. independent of his father.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know where your mind is going right now. By the way, just want to put this out here. Mike Garafolo, our friend, reported this, and I see this. LA reporters are reporting this as well. Tyler Higbee, who was spitting up blood last night, that's why he was sent to the hospital. Higbee traveled home with the team and expects to play against the Eagles this Sunday.
Okay. It changes things.
Does it?
Yeah, I thought it was out. I thought it was going to be out. Usually a hospital stay leads to not playing the next week.
Although Colby Parkinson's been pretty good for them this year as the backup tight end.
If you say so.
You disagree?
Yeah, his name reminds me of Casey Jacobson, the old Stanford guard.
So wait, you're down on Colby Parkinson because he reminds you of Casey Jacobson.
What's wrong with that?
You know they both went to Stanford, by the way.
Yeah.
Colby Parkinson.
Yeah. Wake's got Stanford at home on tomorrow night.
Nice.
Yeah. We're trying to get ourselves off the bubble.
What do you think of the Cardinal this year?
Don't know anything about him.
Don't know anything about him.
Just
okay.
I'm a siloed college basketball fan. Wake Forest, that's it. But I care about Wake Forest basketball. I would rather Wake Forest basketball win one NCAA tournament game than the football team win the national championship.
Really?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because I don't care about Wake Forest football.
But you care about Wake Forest basketball?
Yes.
Okay. And you like Steve Forbes?
I like Steve Forbes.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like this team to not collapse down the stretch every single season, but yeah, I like Steve Forbes. I think Steve Forbes has a good college basketball mantra, which you could maybe think of as a bit of a corollary to the way the Eagles have built their team, which is recruit offense, coach defense. So the Eagles, you bring in the talent on the offensive side of the ball because that's harder to find. And then on defense, that's where you can coach a group to be greater than the sum of its parts.
I like that.
It's effort-based.
So if you were Howie, that would be your approach.
Well, of course, I'm not. It's not a doctrine, but I think it's an interesting way to think about it.
God forbid someone take one statement and try to summarize the entire person that way. I've never experienced that before.
Well, you said I said this a way to think about the way the Eagles roster has been built. Okay. I think it's not that far off. And then you said, "Well, if you were Howie, that's what you would do." I don't know.
Okay. I would like to get into later on in the show looking at these two rosters and how many, if you drafted 10 guys, how many of them would be Eagles?
Okay, well, we can do that in just a little bit after this break. It's like a guy like rustling around through my trash last night. It's kind of weird. And I didn't like the look of him. It's like, what's going on with this guy? He's like creeping in people's windows.
Where are
like
you going with this?
Weird deal. Like Rachel, like I don't know what's going on with this guy. So I go out there. I'm like, hey man, like, what's your name? He goes, my name is Ray.
Are you serious right
And
now?
that's not the Shady Ray that I'm here to talk to you about. Instead, it's our friends at Shady Rays. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably have a style in your favorite team's colors. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is packed by lost or broken replacements. I can speak to this myself. I have taken advantage of this. Lost my sunglasses in the ocean. Went to Shady Rays. Got a replacement. Bingo, bango, boom. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
I'm not a big jewelry guy, but I've become more aware of this now because whenever I see someone, I'm wondering, did they get that ring at Golden Nugget Jewelers? Did they get that watch at Golden Nugget Jewelers? Did they get that diamond necklace or diamond bracelet or those earrings at Golden Nugget Jewelers? So if I want to ask someone, did you get that at Golden Nugget Jewelers? I would say, were you over on 8th and Chestnut in downtown Philly? Because that is where to go. It's family owned and operated, Golden Nugget Jewelers, since 1987. So that is 37 years. If you're getting engaged, they have a wide assortment of rings and bands to fit anyone's style. Receive a final cleaning and written appraisal with every engagement ring purpose. And like I said, it's not just wedding jewelry. They also have watches, diamond necklace, diamond bracelets, earrings, and more. Their selection's so good that it might turn me into a jewelry guy. You deserve an expert and the best price. Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Head over to goldennuggetjewelers.com to learn more.
Alrighty. What?
You today, you remind me right now of.
You remind me of.
No, you remind me of like. You remind me of after my daughter has like a big piece of cake and she is just like, you can't control her.
This show, piece of cake.
No, you can't control her. Like you are. I don't know where you're going here. Like. You're not like the point guard here setting up the shooter. You're more
How dare you?
No, you're more just like the
Stephon Marbury.
Yeah. It's just I don't know where you're going, but I'll try to get the rebound and put a basket in. So,
how's the basketball season going, by the way? We haven't checked in on a while.
Yeah,
for a while.
I had to send my group. I had to send my team a text last night. Sorry, I can't make it. I have to do a show.
No, I didn't realize we were taking you away from Ball is Life.
Yeah, and then.
You could have played and then come in and joined midway through.
I couldn't have because it was an 8:30 game last night, so it wouldn't have worked out.
You could have come in for the end.
I have a job. This is my responsibility.
Okay.
We had a sponsor for the show. I had to be there, but it was tough because I put my team in a tough spot. We have 2 guys who are injured and they couldn't make it, so we had 4 players. They had to go the whole time. Unfortunately
4 on 5?
lost. No, it's 4 on 4.
It is 4 on 4.
It's a smaller gym, but you're in your late 30s, early 40s. Sometimes you need subs, and we didn't have subs.
You need a blow.
So unfortunately we lost. We're down in the standings right now, but I'm eager to turn it around.
How'd you play last week?
We were off last week because of the snow, unfortunately, and then New Year's and Christmas. So I haven't I haven't played in too long.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's okay. And last night was the show got in the way last night.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I texted my group. I said,
So my coworkers are making me
I
do
won't be
this.
able to make it tonight, unfortunately. Need to monitor the MNF game. Excited for the next one.
Bye, Fran.
We're doing a show here. Come on.
The people want to know that he's alive.
I don't think they were worried. Were they worried?
They were wondering if he was sleeping or not.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
It was a classic thing. He thought he was on the show today. He came in, forgot to wear clothes.
I thought he was gonna be on.
Couldn't put him on.
Yeah.
He can't. Zach said no. I'm a pro.
Why does
Can't
your
be doing that.
So why does your mind go there often? Like not wearing clothes? Is that a thing you've?
It's a running thread on the show.
Yeah, but there's never been a situation where I've gone somewhere and the person wasn't wearing clothes.
Well, weren't you surprised then today when Fran walked in stark naked?
All right, let's get back to the Eagles here. So Kellen Moore, I asked Kellen Moore about the Cowboys' interest because he has been linked to that job.
Yes.
And
we didn't talk Dion last night, but go ahead.
yeah, Kellen Moore said he spent 8 years there. He knows a lot of people there. But right now his focus is on Philly because they have a chance to do something special. Now that's not saying he's not interested. Obviously, he should be interested in it. It's a head coaching job at a place where he's familiar. I've seen multiple stories out of Dallas. I think our DLLS crew called Kellen Moore the favorite for the job. So certainly something to pay attention to here.
Do they say that as most likely to be hired, but do they think it would be a bad hire, or they're interested in the quality of the hire? Also?
Yeah, Jeff Kavanaugh said that he showed the betting odds. He said put your money down on Moore, and so. This is, I don't believe Kellen Moore can interview with the Cowboys this weekend because of when they made the change. And McCarthy, I think they had to put the request in last week.
Interesting.
If memory serves, Kellen Moore is allowed to interview on Saturday for
the Jags,
and the Saints. Yes.
Interesting. Okay. What would you think if they hired Dion?
What would I think? Well, it would be better than hiring Jason Witten, that's for sure.
Like the idea of them hiring Jason Witten.
I gotta say, someone said that's. I saw someone say Jason Witten
like hiring Shady Ray
is Jerry Jones's Dan Campbell, just because you played tight end. Like Dan Campbell was an NFL assistant.
Dan Campbell has a personality.
No, Dan Campbell played. He was an assistant coach for like 15 years in the NFL, right? Or 10 years in the NFL. So
yeah, remember the Jason Witten Monday Night Football broadcast?
I think it's a little bit of a stretch.
The worst thing in the world.
But
aside from real, the world.
So Dion, look, Dion's he's had a lot of success at Colorado. He's had a lot of success at Jackson State. Certainly, he knows Jerry Jones, and so yeah, that when I think players would respond to him. Players have responded to him at the college level. I don't know. There is in college. I think this is fair to say there is a certain luster. The playing with or playing for Deion Sanders like that, and players want to go to Colorado to play for Deion Sanders. I don't think that's as pronounced in the NFL. So I think you lose that strategic advantage. I think though, but look, he can certainly. Connect with players. He's gone through coordinators, so I can't tell you like from a scheme perspective. He has Pat Shurmur this year. You rolled your eyes when I said that.
No, I lifted my eyebrows.
No, you lifted your eyebrows. So yeah, so I think that there's other candidates there, but unless his agent's trying to just get him a new deal at Colorado, I got to imagine. It certainly fits the Cowboys. That would be a splashy hire for sure.
Would you take Dion or Kellen Moore or the field? Who do you think's more likely?
Ooh, good question. I would probably go Dion, Kellen Moore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's take a look at what person or thing is heating up. And it's time for the Ace Hardware temperature check. If you want to check out Ace Hardware Home Services online, you can do it at www.acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. place to call to Ace Hardware Home Services myself last week, and boy, did they come through in a pinch. Same day. Fantastic. Zach, A.J. Brown.
Oh,
When I
you're
about
on
A.J.
there.
Brown.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how much Kellen Moore talked about this, but coming off a game in which he had one catch after having a big game against the Rams when these two teams met in Week 12, should Eagles fans expect that A.J. Brown will be heating up on Sunday?
Yeah, I do think fans should expect that. First off, A.J. Brown doesn't have many clunkers in a row. When he played against the Rams last time, he had one of his best games of the season. And A.J. Brown's one of the best players in the NFL. I do want to put out there here. I don't know if this, there's like corners of social media that seem to think that like the Patriots could trade for A.J. Brown this offseason.
What? Based on what?
Based on Mike Vrabel going there and like based on A.J. Brown reading on the sideline. The Eagles aren't trading A.J. Brown. The Eagles love A.J. Brown.
Wait, did Vrabel, did he say he was going to?
Vrabel loves A.J. Brown too.
Right. He was very angry that they
He
traded
was
him.
very angry that they traded
What was
him.
the thing he said where he would cut his
if they
off?
won the Super Bowl.
Okay. I
Yeah.
thought it was if they traded A.J. Brown. Because
No,
you
no,
would want
no.
it back, obviously.
No. Now, by the way, A.J. Brown did grow up a Patriots fan. When the Eagles were playing the Patriots in the Super Bowl, A.J. Brown was rooting for the Patriots at the time.
Okay.
But the Eagles love A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's not going anywhere. A.J. Brown is he's one of the faces of the franchise. I've seen this speculation because of Vrabel and because, again,
Just because you want something doesn't mean you're going to get it.
No, but I think there's this national.
You're never going to get it.
I think there's this national
Never
perception.
gonna get
I do think there's this national perception that because A.J. Brown was reading on the sideline, he was frustrated. And by the way, I did listen back to the telecast, and I think the commentators were speculating that he was frustrated. He was reading because he was frustrated. So maybe that's what it was.
I mean, I think that's reasonable. The speculation is that even in the good version of it, he's centering himself.
Yeah.
Probably because he's not doing what he wants to be doing out there.
Yeah. So A.J. Brown, though, I expect him to be targeted often this game. I think there could be an overcorrection with that. I look at that first Rams game. He was such a big part of what the Eagles did that day. I would expect for the purpose of the temperature check.
He has like murdered Kelly Witherspoon every time they've played against each other.
I would expect him to heat up in this game. So he had 6 catches, 109 yards on 7 targets. So 6 catches on 7 targets.
And of course, there was no
Rams.
Devontae in that game.
Yes, but they barely threw the ball in that game too. So actually, if you look at it, that was he that was one of his highest. The most catches he's had in a game this year. He had 8 catches twice against Pittsburgh and against Washington. But yeah, I would expect A.J. Brown to be used often this week.
Looking at the teams that the Rams have performed well against on defense the last 4 real games, not counting that last game. And because my expectation is that the Eagles are going to try to just run the ball down the throat of this Rams team. And as I'm looking at it, San Francisco is one of those teams, and they were 12th in run DVOA. Obviously, 13th in run DVOA. That's obviously not up to their normal standard. But Minnesota was 20th. Arizona, 9th, which is actually a little bit higher than I would have guessed. And then the Jets, 26th. So, the Eagles are a much better running team than those teams that they played against. I really do think that the Eagles are going to try to run the ball through the middle of that Rams defense. And we've talked about it. What I would like to see is that when they're not running the ball, let's take a couple shots downfield, please.
Okay. And how do you think, because obviously the Rams don't want Saquon to run on them like they did last game. Do you think the Rams are going to force the Eagles to pass? Do you think they're going to sell out against the pass?
I don't think there's any way to force the Eagles to pass.
Because their offensive line's so good, and
because they're also stubborn. They're going to keep trying to run the ball. I mean, that's what they've been doing all year long. I think last week was a good reminder that just because it's the playoffs doesn't mean we're going to see a different version of this team. schematically and game calling wise.
I should say the last time.
That'll do it for the Ace Hardware temperature check. Thank you very much to Ace Hardware and to AJ Brown.
So A.J. Brown's worst game of the season before this one was 2 catches for 36 yards against Jacksonville. He responded the following week with 5 catches for 109 yards. He was frustrated after that Carolina game, 4 catches, 43 yards. He was targeted 11 times the following game, 8 catches, 110 yards. You even go back to last season. He had 1 catch against Kansas City. The following week, he was targeted 9 times. Okay?
9 times.
The Minnesota game last year, he only had 4 catches on 6 targets. The following week, he was targeted 14 times, 9 catches, 131 yards. So I see in the chat, someone said that A.J. Brown overcorrection games are usually a good thing. Yeah, I agree with that.
Good point.
Because it's our friend Shay, who I owe a response to on Discord. My bet on Discord, by the way, I turned off the notifications. Okay, and so I haven't. I'm behind in checking it out.
Why'd you turn off the notes? The noties.
The notifications.
The noties, yeah.
I was getting a notification every time something was posted, and it just became a little too much.
But you can edit the notifications so that you're only
I
getting
just-
it if you're tagged.
I think I just turned off the notifications. So the same thing.
It's not all or nothing, man.
Yeah, I have. I'm in a few WhatsApp group chats.
Flex.
and That's a flex.
Yeah.
Why?
You need encrypted messages?
I do actually. Yes.
How do you think he's getting these Bobby King scoops?
No, that's Signal. Not WhatsApp.
What signal?
The app Signal is
Where you're getting your scoops?
Well, not all of them. Some of them. Yeah. You don't have Signal on your phone?
No.
Just download it. Can't be traced.
Are you dealing drugs?
No, I'm reporting news. Reporting news. You don't interact with people over Signal?
No, I just meet people in parking lots. It's a whole deep throat thing. I'm old school, baby.
Apparently so.
Signal.
Yeah. So WhatsApp. I was getting.
Not much. What's up with you?
God, you enjoy it. Just need to hang out and make each other laugh the whole time because. Yeah, that's basically what the show has devolved into. So I was getting all these notifications on WhatsApp. And I turned off my notifications for that. I was getting too many notifications. So right now, I have Apple News notifications.
Why?
What? That's current. I have.
Yeah? What do you think about the headset thing? How's it going to turn out?
I'm not talking about politics on our show.
What other notices are you getting?
You have the athletic notifications. What?
Every notification is, you still don't work here. You still don't work here. It has been this many days since you worked here.
Say, what do you think of your decision right now?
Want to come back?
This guy, your co-host is Lippy. What do you think? How you holding up over there? Why is that? I see people say, haha, ZB is on Signal. Shay, is there something about Signal that I don't know?
I mean, how do you think Shay's getting all that? How do you think he's getting all that bean?
So, I don't know what that means. I do want to go through these rosters with you. Do you want to read the ads and then we'll do it?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay.
We'll be back right after this. Hello, Fresh. Now, see, if I'd started, then Julia's going to laugh, and Time to figuring out what's for dinner, Fresh. Every night, especially on those busy weekdays, if you get done easy, it's probably thanks to HelloFresh. We've talked about it. 3 different things you want to do with your dinner. Quick, healthy, not too expensive. Tough to get all 3. That's where HelloFresh comes in. I'm losing this. It's not good. I wasn't, Let's bring it. Can we be serious for a moment?
Please.
You need to feed your family. And you don't want to, you got so many other things going on in your life. You don't have the bandwidth to think about what you're going to make every single night. That's why HelloFresh is the savior for your dinners. Share your thoughts on HelloFresh. My thoughts? It's great. That's what's good about it. It's great. High quality products, right portion sizes, and it tastes really good. What's better than that? You can get up to 10 free meals and a free high protein item for life at HelloFresh.com/Eagles10FM. Eagles10FM, all one word. One item per box with an active subscription. Free meals are applied at discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's up to 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/Eagles10FM. It is highly encouraged for you to know that HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
So I was watching the John Mark show, and I'm thinking, man, that's a great head of hair he has. And I know from watching the show and from doing our show that the place to turn for a head of hair as nice as John Mark's is the Morgenstern Center for Orbital and Facial Plastic Surgery. It recently welcomed the Glatt Group to the practice, Glatt Hair Restoration, creating an invaluable opportunity to leverage Dr. Glatt's high-caliber brand equity and begin an exciting chapter in Dr. Morgenstern's highly respected legacy. Dr. Morgenstern is a nationally recognized specialist and among the few surgeons in the country who is trained in oculofacial plastic surgery, facial cosmetic surgery, general and trauma surgery, and I'm so bad at this one, ophthalmology. Did I hit it?
Ophthalmology.
As a true advocate, we are excited to have John Mark spearhead the marketing campaign on his new platform, educating his audience through authentic stories and engaging narratives. I don't know if that part I was supposed to read. I do want to say
it's tough. It's tough when you're just reading. And plus, there's also one from the ad read from the break before where they have the wrong word. It says it's supposed to say purchase and it says purpose. You read that one?
I just want to say,
the whole thing, yeah.
But I do want to say that they have the same peerless approach to care, the same expert team, the same unmatched Glatt system, the same state-of-the-art location, the same stellar results under the direction of Dr. Morgenstern, a highly respected plastic surgeon. Glatt Hair helps during all stages of hair loss. They have leading-edge treatments for prevention and restoration, including laser light therapy, non-invasive TED treatments, vitamin supplementation, topical and oral medications, PRP and stem cell restoration, hair restoration surgery. There's so many great things about a Glatt restoration at the Morgenstern Center. So each patient, you should know this. You receive a complimentary one-on-one consultation to pinpoint the best course of treatment. Glatt Hair isn't just about restoration. It's about innovation. And I love innovation, okay? Because it's not where have you been, it's where you are going. Their breakthrough treatments really do dramatically change lives, change your hair, change your life. Bald, it's now optional. If you want to improve how you look and how you feel about yourself, Glatt Hair has the right treatment for you. Regain your confidence. Visit GlattHairMCTR.com or call 610-980-4000 to get started.
I was talking with a friend the other day who was making a good point about, the Serianni thing that you wrote about. You need special people to do special stuff.
Yes.
Like we're chasing this special stuff, which is funny because it doesn't quite square with let's punt the ball from the 45-yard line into the end zone, or let's run a coward's draw on 3rd and 12 for the 8th time this game. Like that's not special stuff. It's like a jump cut of we need to do special stuff. Like let's puff our chest out and be the best, and then the meekest play calling possible.
So the special stuff is winning games. I stand
Saquon sliding.
By the way,
run into the end zone. That's special stuff.
I need to say we did 3 shows yesterday, but the first show we did, I feel even stronger about my position. I watched it back, and
you feel stronger about your own position when you tweet your own quote, which is what you did.
Well, I'm trying to get people to
quote yourself.
Well, because we weren't clipping it, so okay. I wanted to get people to watch that part of the show. I wanted to get people to go to the 49-minute mark of the show, and I stand by what I said. The Eagles won by 2 scores. They could have won by 20 points. Like at some point, you need to tip your cap to a good performance.
It was a great performance by 3/4 of the team.
But like if the only threshold for a good performance is Jalen Hurts throwing for 300 yards, then
That's not the only threshold.
I think
it's but winning the wild card round is not special stuff. Special stuff is
Agreed.
Right, getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think they're going to get to the Super Bowl if that's the passing game the whole time.
I agree, but you can't get to the Super Bowl in the first game, right? So I said it. They need to pass better if they're going to beat Detroit. But we've spoken all year, and we've compared it to last season, the value of point differential, and the Eagles have, for the most part, beaten teams like handedly. Now they've had 3 games that jump to mind: the Carolina game, the New Orleans game, and the Jacksonville game, where they did not play nearly well enough against their opponent. And those are 1-possession games, or they're about, Jacksonville, N'Kobe gets that interception. If he doesn't, Jacksonville might win.
Yeah, or Saquon doesn't have that fumble.
Yeah.
I think the Jacksonville game was not quite as much of a concern.
Carolina,
stuff.
Leggett
catches the ball. They lose the game.
And then New Orleans, they need to convert an incredible 3rd and 16.
Oh my God, the greatest play in Eagles history. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like this team,
they're being judged on that's the standard. A Super Bowl caliber team.
Absolutely.
It's okay to be hard on them and still celebrate the fact that like the defense is the best defense in football and the running game is awesome. You like to say there's nuance. Both things can be true.
100%.
Right? Well,
I just don't think
you're harder on yourself than you are on you excuse this mediocre passing game.
Well, you beat a team by 12 points, and it could have been, if Saquon doesn't fall, it's 19 points, whatever it is. It's hard to come on the day after beating a really good team by that margin and saying, well, Jalen wasn't prolific enough. And I think...
but it's not about prolificness. It's not about he didn't throw for 300 yards. We're talking about the efficiency of it. Like the dropbacks that he did have were not good enough.
Agreed. But...
Okay, so...
I mean, I just look at it like, if he threw for 350 yards, but they lost the game, it's like, well... no,
No, of course not.
So that's my point. They won the game by, and it's not like they squeaked by. They were the better team throughout the game. So, Jalen needs to play better. But I stand by what I said. The special stuff, I think they realized in that game. I don't like the quote unquote coward's draw. That's not how I would call a play. I would be more aggressive on some of the 4th downs. I do think in that game they thought that it was a just enough game. Play smart, don't turn the ball over, and they can win that game. And you saw that bear. You saw that come to bear.
What's your favorite kind of bear?
My favorite kind of bear?
Yeah. Like if you're going to the zoo, what kind of bear would you like to see?
I honestly don't have much experience with bears. I thought there's a polar bear, there's a grizzly bear, there's a black bear. That's the main, but your favorite bear is probably a black bear, right?
What is that supposed to mean?
Maine, the Maine black bears. Your wife's from Maine, right? Your family's from Maine.
Okay.
Some Maine black bears.
I did not know where that was coming from.
When you think of black bears, what do you think? You don't think of Maine?
No.
Okay, if you think of Wolverines, what do you think? I think Michigan. You think of Minutemen, what do you think? UMass. You think of Buckeyes, what do you think?
Okay.
Yeah, so you think Black Bears, I think Maine. University of Maine Black Bears. Oh, God, you're something else, Bo. So, what's your favorite kind of bear?
Probably polar bear.
Polar bear. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know many bears. I mean, look, I just there's a story I always heard growing up where these 2 guys are in the.
Of course, yes.
I told
well, everybody knows this,
show.
but go ahead.
2 guys are in the woods camping. The bear comes, and they have to pick up their stuff and run. And one guy stops and puts on a shoe. And his friend says, "You're never going to outrun the bear." He says, "I don't need to outrun the bear. I only need to outrun you." It's a good lesson for life.
It's a good lesson for life?
Yes.
That's a life lesson? That everything is a competition? You want your friends to die?
All right. Let me ask you something about the Rams. Okay, I'm gonna turn this on to you here. So the questions aren't about your favorite bear or anything inappropriate. Okay, which
You know what my favorite bear is?
What?
Bare naked.
I'm telling you, you enjoy it. Just need to have a laugh fest one day. Okay, I will
Just
do the
having a
Eagle-
laugh.
I will do the Eagles show. Puka Nucua, Cooper Kupp. Which wide receiver combination do you like better?
I think I would still take the Eagles.
Interesting.
Because I think Kupp is not quite what he wants.
Yeah, is he washed?
I don't know.
I mean,
I imagine.
Okay, yeah,
he showers. Maybe not as quite as much as
know what I
you.
mean? Is he declining?
I think so.
Okay,
Very clearly.
Very clearly.
But I
Yeah.
think he still has flashes of brilliance.
What did you think of Cooper Kupp in the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, I think I probably did not think he was going to be a good player.
Okay,
So-
that was my first Senior Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And what did you think?
of Cooper Kupp.
I actually don't remember thinking anything of him at
okay.
the Senior Bowl.
Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts. Who would you rather have?
For one game,
Yes,
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. Okay. I think it's very clear the Eagles' offensive line. You would take that unit.
Yes.
I think you would take Dallas Goedert over Tyler Higbee, healthy or not. On that defense, okay?
And I think you'd rather have Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, very clearly. On that defense, I mean, look, I know Jared Verse is good, but probably the edge rushers are the only spot where I would point to, and I would say I would take the Rams. Maybe they're safeties, but I'm still not even convinced of that. I think the Eagles just have a decided advantage from a talent perspective.
No, there's no doubt about it. Now, obviously, the
Coaching,
the
play
coaching
caller.
comes into it, and we know that the Vic Fangio against Sean McVay is going to be a huge part of the story of this week. What do we talk about? Shady Ray. We got like hauls of trash bags being brought in. That's interesting. Body parts, you think?
I doubt that, but it's probably PHLY merch, which you can get on allphly.com. Make sure we got some cool merch out, and always some good merch being added to there. My wife loves. I got to stop saying.
How many Facebook followers does she have?
I don't know. Her feedback from the show is stop saying my wife, say Emily. Okay, like call her by her name. Yeah, call her by her name. So
she's got a name.
Yes, exactly. Emily loves our PHLY.
Say it with your whole chest.
Emily loves our PHLY sweatshirts. She wears the PHLY hoodies around the house
Rachel does as well.
all the time. Yeah. So my PHLY hoodies are now her PHLY hoodies.
You're allowed to, get her one of her own.
I could, but actually, yeah, I could.
Wait, hold on. But what's the but actually?
Nothing. There's no.
No.
There's no but actually. There is no but actually.
There is.
Our hoodies are awesome. Make sure you go to allphly.com and get our hoodies.
What is that? Oh, it's like a Flyers thing.
Yes.
Okay.
I gotta say,
It's a
I
mole?
do.
What is that? Oh,
Yeah.
a bear.
So I need
Jamie, is that a bear? Is that a bear?
Oh my God.
We're talking bears. Yeah.
Come on, Andy, Jamie.
Look at this guy.
Look at this.
Zach's got a new favorite bear. He's got the skates on. Nice. There you go.
All right. Yeah.
What are the odds? The bear showed up.
Jamie, today's not our finest show. I just want to warn
How dare you?
Today's
What are you
not our
talking
finest
about?
show.
Bo looks skinny.
Everybody comment down below the video on this episode. Make it the most commented video of the season. Really rub it in Zach's wounds that this is the best show of the playoffs.
I do a self review of each show, and This one might be the lowest of any show I've done since I started. We've had shows.
Wait, hold on. You rate it?
We've had shows on like July 12th that are better than this show right now.
What the hell?
But we still have 5 minutes to
Hold
make
on
this
a minute. You grade it?
Yeah, like not with I give myself a grade. Yeah.
Like, what's the rubric? Like A plus?
How's my content? How's my speaking? Am I presenting well? Like, is my posture good? Do I look put together? Am I an active listener? One of the things I need to work on sometimes is being a more active listener, especially in our 3-person shows. I tend to be looking up stuff for my next point, and I need to be eye contact with Fran. So that's one of the things I observed.
Well, it's not just the eye contact; it's the actual listening part.
Well, no, because I listen to everything he says, but I need to be, from a look. If I'm not looking at Fran, why would the audience be looking at Fran? So that's something that for instance, that was a note from Monday's show that I took down.
But how does that go into a formula? Do you get is
Oh,
there
no,
a
it's-
grade, or are you just taking notes?
Yeah, taking notes
Okay.
for each show.
Okay. What's the best show that you've done this year?
The best show.
Gas yourself up a little bit.
Best show I've done this year. I think it was March 16th or 7th. Our Brennan Brooks show. I thought that was really good. I thought our draft shows were particularly the night one of the draft.
Yeah, thanks to you.
Was
You were crushing it.
strong. A matter of fact, look, the My Guys graphic we did, I went back and looked at that recently. I felt pretty good about how that turned out. I'm sorry, Kalen. You see, I didn't speak well there. Kalen Bullock panned out well for me there.
Okay.
That was a good My Guy. There have been a few.
My guy.
There were a few shows during the summer where I was like, all right, I don't know how this is gonna go, and I was real proud of how those shows turned out. So yeah, I'm not like saying every show.
People love this show. I mean, the reviews are in, and they are
Okay.
over the top in favor of this episode.
You know, so I will say this: there are a few things I want to bring to show. I like the mock press conferences we do. I think that's something that we can bring back. I think those are always fun. I was doing it in the car recently. I think that
With yourself?
yeah, like if I was doing this press conference, how would I do it? It was just like a thought experiment I was doing.
Were you doing it out loud?
Yeah, there's no one in the car, so I can talk to myself.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I think we definitely need to lean into. I'm really looking forward during the offseason. This is something I'm going to push for.
Easily the best show they've had in a while.
I don't know what that says about our
This
recent
show is
shows.
elite. I love this show. This has been one of my favorite shows.
I want to push into long form interviews. Like I was watching the Alshon Jeffrey interview recently with the Taylor Lewan Will Compton show, and I was like, I would love to sit down with former players and in Studio A, we can have great shows like that. Could be a good off-season thing. Is more interviews, long-form interviews. I thought our Brandon Brooks show was outstanding last year.
So essentially, you don't think we've had a good show the entire Eagles season?
No.
You said March and July.
Oh no. That's no. We've
Oh
had
no.
we've had good shows.
Thank you for watching on first. If you want to watch the rest of this episode, you must go to allphly.com.
You know what we should have done today? We should have gotten questions from the chat. That would have been good.
Okay.
More mailbag shows I would like to do. Let's do 10 more minutes here. Mailbag shows. A quick. What's on your mind?
We have a
want
couple
to-
super chats.
Yeah.
Yo, 5G. Just throwing it out. Love that. Real time with Prince Blue. Patriots use Vic Fangio plan to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. This is going to be the huge national narrative of this game. Fangio, McVay. Fangio has owned McVay. It's why we got the Call Me Daddy graphic up there. I am a little bit like, if you just think of like what the narrative would be if the Eagles lose this game, there is like, man, McVay, he finally got into the kitchen and whipped up a recipe that caught Vic Fangio by surprise. He finally won that matchup.
I should say that the praise from Fangio praised McVay today and said one of the best play callers in the league, really has a good command of his offense. So I think the admiration is mutual. But certainly, look, actions speak loud here. And there's a reason why when McVay had to make his coordinator hires in recent years, he went to that tree.
Mike with the super chat says, ZB wanting to be a more active listener reminds me of Swooper a few weeks ago when he was thinking about leaving for the locker room. Iconic moment.
That was an iconic moment of the show.
It's funny, Zach. I do believe that the show you want to do is not the show that the people want.
That's, I don't know. I did have somebody. Look, if we're having a confessional here, okay, might as well. I had someone come to a book signing, and they said that he said, Bo is so good on the shows with on the shows with other people. And he's like, I feel like they were like, I feel like the Bo you want is how Bo is with everybody else. He's like, he gives such good smart
right between the eyes.
He like builds up the other person. It's like, and I was like,
direct shot.
I was like, no, I was like, Bo's awesome.
Wait till you see the episode. Wait till you see the draft episode with Fran. I am very, very behaved.
I was like, Bo's awesome. Bo's the best host in the city. Bo is awesome at all times. But yeah, he does revel in making me feel uncomfortable as opposed to other people.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Got to give the people. Rob Milner with the chat, a super chat, says, does any locker room bump Stevie Wonder harder after a win than the Eagles?
You know what? This is a good question, actually, because I've had people ask me about why Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson. Maybe this week I'll find out who's controlling the aux. That's a good project, as they say. Yeah, because I was reading a story about the Cleveland Cavaliers recently, and Darius Garland controls the aux in that locker room, and it's clearly working. The Cavs are outstanding this year, so I'm curious who controls the aux. It used to be, Jason Peters.
Yeah.
When Chip Kelly was here, Chip Kelly didn't like when they listened to music out loud. He wanted them to have their headphones on. So I'm curious who controls the aux.
What an a-hole. I mean, that's the thing he cares about.
LaShawn McCoy with
who would you say is the least surprised or the most surprising answer for who controls the Eagles aux cord? Who would you be most surprised to learn?
Most surprised to learn
that they're in control of the music.
That they're in control of the music. I would probably have to say, like a practice squad player who just got here, like Joseph Ngata.
Okay.
How
about an active roster guy?
Active roster guy who, Rich Lovato. Rick Lovato. Yeah, Rick Lovato.
Okay. I mean, he's been here a while.
Yeah, but I think Rick just kind of likes to kind of.
I mean, it would be very funny.
Yeah, I think Rick just kind of likes to hang out.
Nick Gates.
I can see Nick Gates controlling the aux.
Okay.
I mean, he's got a corner locker. He's got a locker next to a pillar, right? So there's the outlets there.
Oh, that's true.
So that from a strategic placement.
Okay.
I gotta say, Eli Ricks from a locker location perspective, Eli Ricks is one of the most desired spots. Yeah,
from geography versus importance to the team. No offense to Eli Ricks, but probably the biggest biggest difference on the
that
team.
Corner locker. That's a real. It's
a coveted spot.
Yeah, it's opposite of the starting
number one quarterback. Yeah,
and Eli Ricks has been holding it down. So Eli Ricks, and Eli Ricks has one of the most coveted numbers. Right, you get 21, and you get the corner locker. Like if you didn't know anything, if you're a national reporter who didn't know anything about Philly, and you came into that locker room and you're like 21 with the corner locker, that guy's probably one of the ringleaders on the team.
Yeah, I have an actual Eagles question for you.
Yeah,
Serianni question. You know, they have the graphics they send out every now and then from Ben Baldwin's site about the NFL teams. How often do they go for it on fourth down when they should? The Eagles this season are 12th behind the likes of Todd Bowles, Zach Taylor, the Bears, like half of a Matt Eberflus. How do you think Jeffrey Lurie feels about that?
Oh, not very good. I think that there have been too many times when they should have been more aggressive on fourth down. And look, there's times when they have been aggressive on fourth down and it's been fruitful, but I don't think they've been aggressive enough. I think that, and I said this at the time, I think that Baltimore game, they like took such weird pride in pinning him back, and I thought that they did again the following week. No, I'm in favor of being aggressive. I actually think so. This is okay. I'm gonna back up here. When I do my notes, I will know that I didn't articulate this point well, but I'm going to now. I think that there is a misconception and a poor narrative that when you have a good defense, you should be less aggressive because like you're trusting your defense.
I agree.
I actually think it's the opposite. I think if you really trust your defense, be more aggressive on offense because you should feel confident that your defense can bail you out in these situations.
Totally agree. And we talked about it
Yes.
then, that like the idea that you're showing confidence in your defense. No, showing confidence in your defense is, guess what? If we turn the ball over at the 45-yard line, you're fine.
Yeah.
I know that you're fine still.
I think you're absolutely right because when you're pushing them back, now you could be saying field position, and I get that. You saw that work out in the Baltimore game. Right. But essentially what you're saying is that the defense, you're giving you're giving the defense multiple chances to force the opponent off the field because they have to drive the length of the field. Mm-hmm. Whereas I would much rather say our defense is good enough that you are not going to convert this first down here.
Now, the flip side, the argument for it, if we're talking just about defense, is if you don't trust your offense, mm-hmm. which some of these play calls make it clear that they don't trust the offense in certain situations, that if you're able to pin the opposing offense back, your best chance of creating a turnover, like you have a better chance of creating a turnover if you give them the ball at the 5-yard line than you do of converting 4th and 6th.
Sure. But
is like, if that's the case, that's sort of dire thinking.
I don't think playing the forced turnovers is a winning strategy.
Of course not. Yeah. I am actually frankly surprised if you had asked me before the start of the season, like where would the Eagles rank in going for it on 4th down? I would have thought that part of like the table stakes for Nick Serianni returning as head coach would have been that he agreed to be more aggressive on 4th down. And I'm surprised that it has gone the other way. I mean, they were 6th. No, they were 1st last year in 4th down aggressiveness. Like that is very surprising to me.
Yeah, I actually think I would imagine those conversations at this time last year. Can you think this week we did the Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, Nick Serianni.
You said you wanted to do more role playing.
Yeah. I would think that those conversations were more big picture about the offense and the defensive strategies and less about the game strategy.
Super chat from James, who says the song after they win should be "Ain't No Stopping Us Now." What is it? We're on the move. We're on the move.
Yeah, when I was growing up, the Sixers used to play that after wins.
Okay.
Before they played 10, 9,
Clap your
8,
hands,
7. Yeah.
Everybody. Okay.
All right,
I'm seeing if there are any. Well, you asked for questions.
Oh, yeah.
So
Are there any questions here? I would love to answer your questions.
Listening. Somebody give Zach something to talk about, please. Get him away from me. He needs a break.
Getting a few notifications. I get the Eagles notifications.
Still not employed here.
What?
The Athletic, right?
No, I'm getting Eagles notifications, and then my sister's texting me.
Oh, the Eagles? Is it news?
No, it's channeling inner excellence.
Hmm.
And you see what they're doing there? Because of the book, they're playing off of that.
Did you get to the bottom of where that guy was?
No. I was going to ask Jeff Nyberg today, but I did not. The conversation pivoted to what goes into being a bestseller on Amazon.
Steve would like speaking of role play, I think this would be a good idea for the offseason, is an episode where you play me and I play you.
No, I think it would drive me to therapy or something. Zach, what is your favorite color?
What's your favorite scary movie?
So I like blue. I like I like blue is
Jadon Blue, the ball carrier.
But then I like to say that I like gray because I don't see the world in black and white. I see the world in gray. So that's an answer that I give to that question often.
Zach, the most depressing color.
Gray?
Yes.
No, it
is the shorthand for depressing.
I think when you see gray in the world, it means that you're not, that you can bring two sides together. I think it's a wonderful concept. Zach, if you could do a wolf's den, what would it be? I have so many ideas for wolf's dens that, but I don't want to bring them up on the show because then Bo would actually not do them. And so I'm holding out hope that he would do them.
What am I supposed to do? Just read your mind? You could just do them.
True, but you're so good at the wolf's den. ZB, favorite bad for you snack that you eat too much of?
Ooh, good
definitely,
question.
definitely cookies, without a doubt. I love cookies. My favorite cookie in the city is the Urban Outfitters cafeteria. But now Levain just opened on Walnut, and I love Levain cookies. What's this next
You
one?
probably want this cookie inside you.
What's the super chat? Please tell
Levain.
ZB I woke up my daughter on New Year's Eve to say, let's make this the best year ever. She says she doesn't remember it. I tell my kids in the mornings every day, make this a great day, which I love, by the way, that Rich Hoffman, you got to subscribe to Rich Hoffman's email. He signs off his emails the same way. Let's make this a good one. I don't say have a good day. I say make it one because I think that verb choice is important.
I like that.
What'd you think of Noah Cates' goal? I got to say, whatever I think of the Flyers comes from Charlie O'Connor. So if Charlie O'Connor likes it, I like it. Question for ZB: would you ever do whatever drug Bo is on right now? Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, look, I gotta say,
Drug of life. Somebody told me to make it a great day. I'm making it a great day, baby.
Bo did the draft show earlier. We had a long meeting before, so you know, you've had a busy day, but yeah, you're on one today. I respect it. You make it entertaining.
75% of respondents in the chat said this is the best show that we've ever done.
Don't encourage him, please.
24 said no.
ZB,
1%.
what are your thoughts on
jumped off a building?
Bare Naked Ladies? That's the band, right? I don't know any of their songs. What's a Bare Naked?
You don't know
Ladies
any
song?
Bare Naked Ladies songs?
I don't. What's a Bare Naked Ladies
If
song?
I had $1 million, if I had $1 million,
I've heard that song. ZB,
they got a few.
What will it take for you to?
It's been
Who
1
is
week
your-
since you looked at me.
Who is your favorite
Step
Eagle?
inside his head, I said I'm angry.
This is from Anise Martinez. This is from Anise Martinez. ZB, who's your favorite Eagle, past or present?
Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain keeps kicking.
I appreciate everyone in that locker room right now, honestly. So my favorite Eagle present is all of them because they all have good stories to tell. When I was growing up, I really liked Randall Cunningham. I really liked Donovan McNabb. So
it's all been done.
Okay. All right. Anything else here? Did I miss any, Julia?
Pinch me.
Best sports game I've ever seen live. This is a good one. I mean, I would consider the stakes of the game. So that obviously the Eagles Patriots Super Bowl was an awesome game. The Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl, I covered that. That was an awesome game as well. I covered. I would say I covered an NCAA tournament game, Princeton, Kentucky. Brandon Knight hit a game winner at the end. That was awesome. When I was growing up, so as a spectator, best game I ever saw live, I was in 5th grade. So this was November of 1996. Michigan State against Temple. I was sitting at it was then called the Apollo. It's now called the Liacouras Center. I was sitting in the upper deck. Pepe Sanchez hit 2 free throws to win the game at last minute against Mateen Cleaves, that Michigan State team. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. So that game to me is the game that always jumps to mind.
That's great.
ZB, any
Somebody
books
wants to know what's the closest you've ever been to fighting me.
Closest I've ever been to fighting you. I'm not a fighter, so no. The closest I think you've ever been to fighting me was in the Spring Hill Suites in West Palm Beach, Florida, and I remember calling Emily saying or texting her because it was late at night. I'm like, I don't think Bo ever wants to do the show with me again, because I was trying to make the point that I don't view professional football teams as moral arbiters of society. Was my point. So I was saying
this
that
was the Deshaun Watson
that I don't condone I don't condone what Deshaun Watson did, but I don't believe that football teams are.
You were standing Deshaun Watson was.
No. You say I was defending Jeffrey Lurie.
Yeah.
Is because you wanted me to renounce Jeffrey Lurie for not renouncing Deshaun Watson. And my point was that I'm very honest about what professional football franchises are. They're in this to try to win games, and that the moral they are not moral arbiters on society.
And what's the maddest you've ever been at me?
The maddest I've ever been at you? I don't know. I would have to think.
Too many to count.
No,
I mean, it's impossible to pick one. You're starting every day to 98.
No, honestly, I try to say, what could I have done better in that situation? So.
There must be something.
No. Nothing.
Come on.
I don't have anything off that comes to the top of my head on.
Was it the Serianni hot seat from last year?
No, you were actually no. I actually I wasn't mad at you for that. I wasn't mad at you for that. I actually appreciated that we had the convection. I disagreed with the headline, but I wasn't mad at you. I get mad at you when I feel like the shows when like a show is created to make me look bad as opposed to like building me up. So there have been shows where I'm like I was just a punching bag that entire show, and that's not worth my but I can't think of like one. Yeah.
I hope you don't feel like you were a punching bag this episode.
No,
I feel like I was punching myself.
Yeah, no. Today I don't feel I was a punching bag. Yeah. Today there was a lot of circumstances involved today. I mean, we did do, by the way, we did 3 shows yesterday. We talked about the Rams live yesterday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed the mailbag segment here. And by the way, we're at the 77 mark, the 77-minute mark of today's show.
All right. That will do it for this episode of the PHLY Eagles podcast. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, Jamie and Handsome Rich back in the saddle. Thursday, 2 o'clock, Fran Duffy will be with us, along with the professor, Daniz Selman. And we're going to have the full into the weeds breakdown of this matchup in a long. The hell does that mean? In addition to, and along with, the next round of Super Swordcasting, in which I imagine I'm going to be in for some comeuppance. And then on Friday, we have me and Daniz, and I guess depending on locker room, potentially you as well.
Yeah, I will chime into the show tomorrow from NovaCare to give you updates on what Nick says and any updates from the practice field.
All right, make sure that you. This is an important directive for those of you who did enjoy this episode. Hit the like button and comment below the video, because if we can get either of those two things, like the highest that we've had, Zach is going to have to subject himself to another one of these at some point moving forward. Thank you to Julia for putting up with us. Thank you to Zach for putting up with me. We will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks to you, the listeners. And as always, from the bottom of my heart, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.